Hello, I hope you had a nice break, and we're going to start the second set of the first online performance of the Union Song Club. The first song we're going to do is No Man's Land by the Dubliners. I think the singer is Luke Kelly, and we're going to have a little theme of some anti-war type songs, anyway the next three or so. So hopefully you'll enjoy those.
Well, how do you do, young Willie McBride? Do you mind if I sit here down by your graveside and rest for a while? Need the warm summer sun. I've been walking all day and I'm nearly done. I see by your gravestone you are only 19 when you joined the Great Fallen in 1916. I hope you died well and I hope you died clean. Our young Willie McBride, was it slow and obscene? Did he beat the drum slowly? Did he play the fife slowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? And did the band play the last post and chorus? Did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? Did you leave there a wife or a sweetheart behind? In some faithful heart is your memory enshrined? Although you died back in 1916, in that faithful heart are you forever 19? Or are you a stranger without even a name, enclosed and forever behind the glass frame? In an old photograph, torn, battered and stained, and faded to yellow in the brown leather frame. Did he beat the drum slowly? Did he play the fife slowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? And did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? The sun, now it shines on the green fields of France. There's a warm summer breeze, it makes the red poppies dance. And look how the sun shines from under the clouds. There's no gas, no barbed wire, there's no gun firing now. But here in this graveyard, it's still no man's land. The countless white crosses stand mute in the sand. To man's blind indifference to his fellow man, to a whole generation that were butchered and damned. Did he beat the drum slowly? Did he play the fife slowly? Did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? And did the band play the last post and chorus? Did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? A young Willie McBride, I can't help wonder why. To those that lie here, know why did they die? And did they believe when they answered the call? Did they really believe that this war would end war? Well, the sorrow, the suffering, the glory, the pain, the killing and dying were all done in vain. For young Willie McBride, it all happened again, and again and again and again and again. Did they beat the drums slowly, did they play the fife slowly, did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? Did the pipes play the flowers of the forest? Did they beat the drums slowly, did they play the fife slowly, did they sound the death march as they lowered you down? Did the band play the last post and chorus? And did the pipes play the flowers of the forest?
Our next song is the D-Day Dodgers. Now what's interesting about this is that it has been credited to Hamish Henderson. Incidentally, Hamish Henderson has been regarded as the second most important cultural figure in Scotland after Robbie Burns. Anyway, Hamish was sent with the 8th Army to Italy because he was a polymath. He was a great linguist, and he was sent to negotiate the surrender of the German army. I suppose in one sense his services weren't needed because, as I'm sure some of you know, the German army didn't actually surrender Italy. It was only when the war was over that the German army finally gave up. So Berlin was invaded before the German army in Italy anyway, stopped. Now the interesting thing is that Hamish, and I have it on very good authority, in fact Lorna Campbell, who I spoke to a few months ago in Birmingham, she knew Hamish Henderson, and she said that he had told her that the words were already being sung by members of the 8th Army, and all he had to do was to take the words down. This is actually sung, the song is sung, get it right, by Ian Campbell, from the Ian Campbell folk group, and although he was originally from Aberdeen, he ended up in Birmingham, and they had the Ian Campbell folk group there. So, without further ado, let's go over to the D-Day Dodgers.
We're the D-Day Dodgers out in Italy, always on the vino, always on the screen. 8th Army scroungers and their tanks. We live in Rome among the Yanks. We are the D-Day Dodgers way out in Italy. We landed at Salerno, a holiday with pay. The Jerrys brought the bands out to greet us on the way, showed us the sights and gave us tea. We all sang songs, the beer was free, to welcome D-Day Dodgers to sunny Italy. Naples and Cassino were taken in our stride, We didn't go to fight there, we just went for the ride. Anzio and Sangro were just names. We only went to look for dames. The artful D-Day Dodgers, way out in Italy. On the way to Florence, we had a lovely time. We ran a bus to Rimini, right through the Gothic line. Soon to Bologna we will go, and after that we'll cross the Po. We'll still be D-Day dodging, way out in Italy. Once we had a rumor that we were going home, back to dear old Blighty, nevermore to roam. Then someone said, in France you'll fight. We said, no fear, we'll just sit tight. The windy D-Day Dodgers, way out in Italy. We hope the Second Army will soon get home on leave. After 6 months' service, it's time for their reprieve. But we can carry on out here another 2 or 3 more years. Contented D-Day Dodgers to stay in Italy. Dear Lady Astor, you think you know a lot, standing on a platform and talking Tommy rot. You England sweetheart and its pride, we think your mouth's too bleeding wide. That's from your D-Day Dodgers in far off Italy. Look around the mountains in the mud and rain. You'll find the scattered crosses, there's some which have no name. Heartbreak and toil and suffering gone, the boys beneath them slumber on. Those are the D-Day Dodgers who'll stay in Italy.
So the final one of the war trilogy we're doing, we put these war-related songs together a couple of years ago because of the 2018 100-year anniversary of the end of the First World War. And so the last one is actually a Lily Marlene, and it's sung by Dame Vera Lynn. Now, I had heard the other day that Vera Lynn is still with us. She's 103 years old. And I was quite pleased with her because I think some years back she was complaining about the impact of austerity. It may have been that she was focusing her comments upon the military cuts, but I think in general she was having a go about the way the welfare state and the public sector as a whole was being damaged because of the Conservative government's onslaught. Anyway, Lily Marlene.
Underneath the lantern by the barricade, darling, I remember the way you used to wait. 'Twas there that you whispered tenderly that you loved me, you'd always be my lily of the lamplight, my own Lily Marlene. Time would come for roll call, time for us to part. Darling, I'd caress you and press you to my heart. And there, 'neath that far-off lantern light, I'd hold you tight, we'd kiss goodnight, my lily of the lamplight, my own Lily Marlene. Orders came for sailing somewhere over there, all confined to barracks was more than I could bear. I knew you were waiting in the street, I heard your feet, but could not meet, my lily of the lamplight, my own Lily Marlene. Resting in a billet just behind the line, even though we're parted, your lips are close to mine. You wait where that lantern softly gleams, your sweet face seems to haunt my dreams, my lily of the lamplight, my own Lily Marlene, my lily of the lamplight, my own Lily Marlene.
And now we have something extra special. You've never ever heard of this before. It's the first time that you'll ever have heard it. And that is that I have developed a brand new art form, and it is called Rantoki. So have you got that? Rantoki. Now Rantoki has been formed by putting together the words karaoke with rant, and I suppose in a sense it ought to be dedicated to Richard Wilson, you know, the Grenockian actor that played what was his name, you know, the one foot in the grave, Victor Meldrew, that's who it was, who would occasionally lose it and have a rant. And what this is about is I'm trying to get people, like a flash mob of pensioners, to target a bad boss and all arrive outside the bad boss's establishment, and all in unison, another good word if we've got any unison listeners, all in unison to give it up and shout. Now one other thing before we move on, and that is, if any of you out there are road engineers, I could do with your help, because I wanted to develop singing or even reciting these words in big open air demonstrations, and I know it's going to be some time before we can get back to that, but nonetheless, when we do, I want to bring along a big sort of portable road traffic display board and put the words through that, because then the people will be able to see the words and they'll be able to recite them together in unison. Unfortunately, with our song club, we have been doing it inside with a screen projector. Well, of course it doesn't work in the open air because it's just too bright. I need to get hold of a cheap second-hand road display sign that I can connect to a computer so it displays and scrolls there in tempo with the music. So Rantoki is, and this is a poem that I wrote myself. It's called Hey Sister, Hey Brother. Hey sister, hey brother, don't you think we should look after each other? In secret accounts, in tax havens, the super rich hide their savings. How dare they not pay their way? But their kind does not mind making the poor pay even more. The super rich do not care exactly where they hide their wealth. No flag waving nationalist hysteria when profits are the sole criteria. We all want a decent job and good pay, sufficient leisure time to go out and play, but 0 hours and minimum pay means that we might never find a way to live full lives before Judgment Day. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, I declare, should be pursued everywhere. So, if you want to be fully human, you must join Unite the Union. Hey sister, hey brother, don't you think we should look after each other? And now we're moving on to one of our first international songs, and who else would it be but Woody Guthrie singing This Land Is Your Land.
This land is your land, and this land is my land, from the California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went a-walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway, saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. All around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling in the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling. The voice was chanting as the fog was lifting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, and this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, the dust clouds rolling, the voice coming chanting, and the fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me.
Our next song celebrates the activity of Rosa Parks, who on the 1st of December 1956 refused to go to the back of the bus in the segregated arrangements that were then the rules in Birmingham in Alabama. There is now in a number of states in America a Rosa Parks Day on that date. Some of the other states celebrate Rosa Parks Day in February on her birthday. Rosa was the first African American woman to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor, and this campaign basically ensured that the civil rights movement was making great progress against segregationist policies that were implemented across the southern states.
If you miss me at the back of the bus and you can't find me nowhere, well, come on over to the front of the bus. I'll be riding right there. I'll be riding right there. I'll be riding right there. You got to come on over to the front of the bus. I'll be riding right there. And if you miss me in the cotton field and you can't find me nowhere, come on over to the jailhouse. I'll be rooming right there. I'll be rooming right there. I'll be rooming right there. You got to come on over to the jailhouse. I'll be rooming right there. And if you miss me in the Mississippi River and you can't find me nowhere, come on over to the city pool. I'll be bathing right there. Oh, I'll be bathing right there. I'll be bathing right there. You got to come on over to the city pool. I'll be bathing right there. And if you miss me on the picket line and you can't find me nowhere, come on over to the courthouse. I'll be voting right there. Oh, I'll be voting right there. I'll be voting right there. You got to come on over to the courthouse. I'll be voting right there. And if you miss me at the back of the bus and you can't find me nowhere, come on over to the front of the bus. I'll be riding right there. Yeah, I'll be riding right there. Oh, I'll be riding right there. You got to come on over to the front of the bus. I'll be riding right there.
Thank you.
I have been an activist in the trade union movement since 1969, so obviously quite a long time. And if we've got any younger trade union activists, well, I suppose there will be a lot of younger ones, but I mean really young ones that are setting out on their trade union careers, I'm going to offer you a bit of advice. And that is, try as far as possible to be nice to the General Secretary. Don't fall out with the General Secretary unless you really have to. And on that note, I am now going to introduce a message from our own General Secretary, Len Mucker.
Hi, I'm speaking to you today from my home because having developed the symptoms of coronavirus, I'm in isolation. But I wanted you to know that I'm in constant contact with my senior team at Unite. I know these are worrying times for you and your family. I know that you'll have concerns about your health, but also concerns about what the future holds for your jobs and for your communities. Unite is an employer as well as your union, and of course we've now had to change the way we work, doing things differently. But our priority is to always be here to support you every step of the way during these difficult times. We'll be using our media and our websites, our social media, our digital platforms in order to keep in touch, and our staff are working around the clock in order to keep those information channels open. Most importantly, our officers are working tirelessly in discussions with your employers to protect jobs and to protect wages. And we're meeting with government ministers constantly in order to make sure that there is sufficient money, no matter what the cost. The government has to make funds available in order to achieve the aims of protecting those jobs and protecting your future. You know, these are difficult times, but this is the time for all of us to stay strong together. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for everything that you do. Please take my best wishes back to your families, and please keep yourselves safe. Our solidarity will get us through this.
I wanted now to show you the logo we developed for the Song Club. It is based upon the Alexander Rodchenko design. He was, of course, a constructivist and a well-known artist in the early period of the Soviet system. In fact, he died in 1956. But as you can see, he was interested in using shapes, really, in order to convey a strong message. I ought to also say that the megaphone image is actually also now used by the TUC. Their service with emails going out with information to trade union activists is called Megaphone. The image you're seeing now is the one we've adopted for the Union Song Club. As you can see, it says Solidarity Singing, and the reason it says that is that we wanted to train up retired members of all unions, not just Unite, so that we could go and support our younger sisters and brothers when there were issues. For example, we wanted to congregate outside the premises of bad bosses, hand out union recruitment material, and sing songs to give encouragement and a bit of backbone to younger members that have never taken action before. There was a view which suggested that we could perhaps sing out of tune and somehow thereby force the bosses to surrender because of a cacophony of noise. But I suppose wiser heads prevailed, and it was thought that we ought to practice before we go out into the world and actually sing to encourage members to join the union. We are now coming to the end of the first online Union Song Club. We are going to be doing this every week, and hopefully we'll be able to release one next Thursday. If you've got any suggestions or want to help in any way, please email me at mickrice@gmail.com. I ought to say we are going to conclude today's session with Solidarity Forever from Pete Seeger, and I want to hear you all singing it as loud as you possibly can. Always remember, the louder you sing, the healthier you will be. Thanks for watching.
Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun.
Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving mid the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of atoms, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong.